Hi, Hillcrest members. Hadley down here at tennis. Today we're going to be discussing my top 6 technique, um, my technique tips that I think help um, a real quick fix on how to improve your technique on the fly. So, instead of stopping and trying to change everything that you do, to me, these little tips really help a quick fix. So, first, we're going to talk about 3 important um, concepts of the shot. So, within the shot, there are 5 elements. So you have your split, and then you see the ball, and then you turn, move, hit, and then recover. So those are the 5 elements of the shot. But today I'm going to talk about the 3 that I think are extremely important, um, and it actually leads up to the contact of the ball. So first is the split. So the split step, I think, is misunderstood. I think that the split step is thought to be like this thing where you plant and then you do it too soon, and then the split step is not effective. But in my opinion, I think that the split step is it's a great way for us to see the ball early. And what will happen is people will split step before before the contact is made from your hitting partner's side. So then now they've completely neutralized the split step, and it's not useful at that point. So really trying to split as your hitting partner or your opponent hits the ball and makes contact, and then you're prepared because you're seeing the ball. You're prepared to turn and then move to contact. So when you're on this, when you're hitting, it's the split, turn, move, and then you'll hit. But those first three parts of the shot are extremely key, because not only will it get you to the ball on time, to your contact on time, but it will also ensure that you have turned, and then now your spacing with the ball and your relationship with the ball won't be too far away or too close. So to me, this is a huge thing, especially when we're warming up. You know, in our clinics, I say a lot of times, split, turn, move, hit, split, turn, move, hit, and it's understanding that rhythm where it's, especially, you can really do it and find that rhythm when you have somebody feeding to you, or if we're doing a specific exercise where it's a rhythm hit, where we're just trying to get the ball in your contact point and things like that. So really, to me, this is the top of my list of things that will really help your technique, and then also help your contact, and it's a real quick fix. So as a recap for that one, it's the split, turn, and then move, because a lot of times we try and multitask and do it all at once, but it really has to be sequential, and you're doing these things in order, because if we change up the order, then our rhythm and then our contact is inconsistent. Okay, number 2 is getting the racket behind the wrist and then having a fast hand through the ball. So we've been working on this with quite a few people, but a lot of times when we are hitting, we tend to have our contact with our arm straight, and our racket is even with our wrist. So then it's really just more of an arm motion, and that's going to put a lot of stress and strain on your arm, as you can imagine. But really trying to get the racket behind the wrist so that you can let your racket drop through, and your hand will do the work rather than your arm. So as you hit, making sure that the racket is behind the wrist, okay? And then letting your racket drop. And then your hand has to accelerate through the point of contact. If it slows down, that's when we tend to get even with our racket, and our arm tend to be even, or our racket is lagging behind. And so then we can never get that racket head speed, which is going to give you pace and spin and also control. Once the racket becomes away from the body and your arm is away from the body, now we lose control as well. So our ability to have a consistent contact point, and then also hitting to a consistent spot, if we want to hit cross court or if we want to hit down the line, it makes it very difficult for us to hit to specific spots if we don't have that control. And a lot of this week's emphasis has been put on hitting to specific targets and developing that racket control and that rhythm in hitting to specific spots. Okay, so we're going to move on to number 3, getting your strings behind the ball. So a lot of times, on our volleys, we tend to, our racket gets to here, but we really want, this is specifically for the volley, but we want our contact a little bit further away from our body. We don't want to be too close. Okay, so a little bit further away. And then also our hands should be like they're handcuffed together. And this will keep the shoulder, this will keep the shoulder turned. Okay, so handcuff, or I always like to think that I'm going to catch the ball. And then your strings need to get behind the ball. If they're to the side, now we have too much wiggle room. But if we get our strings behind the contact point and behind the ball, then now all we have to do is push our body and step forward to the ball, and you'll find that you have more control when you're doing this. When we're here this way and the contact is out in front of us here rather than here, now we hit a lot more balls into the net, and then we also lose our ability to control and to dictate where we want the ball to go. Okay, so let's talk about contact. A lot of times I like to do a drill where we're up at the net, and really the player does not have a backswing. So the racket starts behind the wrist, and then they lift. Racket behind and lift. So it's really focusing on the contact has to be in front of the hip, and then the strings are square, and then the lift comes with your legs rather than your arm. And so you're going to naturally start using your legs a little bit more, and then your contact is going to be more consistent as you move further back. So we'll start up very close, like probably a step away from the net, and it just teaches them that contact point has to be in the same spot every time, and then we progressively move back. And we also covered the contact on the volley, which it should, again, a little bit further away from your body, hands here, and then the contact should always be out in front of your hip, okay? Never out in front of your chest here. It's always to the side, and then that spacing. So when we're on the court, and I will say to people, like, let the ball get to the side of you so that you can catch it here versus here. Okay. And then let's quickly discuss the contact on the overhead, because a lot of times people will let the ball directly above their head. And so I will say, like, you're going to catch a fly ball. So when you make contact, you want to be so that you're hitting slightly out in front so that you can swing your arm. If the ball were to land, or if you're catching the ball so that it's going to land behind or at on top of your head, now you have no leverage, so you're not able to bring the ball down into the court. You're just hitting up, or and you're really going to hurt your shoulder. So really thinking about getting behind the ball so that you can swing up and over the top. And then finally, let's talk a little bit about the serve. So the one tip that I have really come to understand and use quite a bit comes from Edgar Giffenig, and he has written a couple of books, and he's an outstanding follow on YouTube, and then also finding his books. He's very insightful and has really helped me develop a different mindset and just really educated me on a lot of simplified technique tips, and it's really helped me develop as a coach. And so I would highly recommend following him if you're a YouTuber. And so anyway, he talks about getting the hand to go up faster to the ball. We tend to use our arm, so then we kind of flop over the top of it. But if we can get our hand to go up faster, now we get the racket head speed to come up and over the top of the ball. So you're gonna get more speed, you're gonna get more spin, and you're gonna get that ball to drop down into the court a lot faster. And so in turn, you're gonna have fewer mistakes, you're gonna hit the ball harder, so you're gonna have people not taking advantage of your serve. And so it takes a lot of pressure off of you, especially when you're playing points. So anyway, I hope these tips helped. I think that a lot of these are just really quick sayings and quick things that you can do on the fly, and they're not too complicated. There's things that are very simple and are very logical, and so they're easy to remember, and they're easy technique, quick fixes. So thanks for joining us. Please reach out if you have any questions. Have a happy Halloween, and we'll see you back next week. Thanks.